Hey guys, I want to talk about how to leverage your network to increase your net worth. Now, I want to go back in time and talk about the beginning, where I learned sales, entrepreneurship, how I crafted and formulated a group of very powerful mentors and people in my life that helped me get to the next stage. Now, to go back when I was younger, I learned sales from my mother and I learned technology, business entrepreneurship from my dad. And most people growing up, your first mentors are typically your parents or a family member. So I remember when I was a young student at the University of Maryland, College Park, my mom used to work for a company called Clarion Inn, and then it turned into a Best Western in College Park. I remember very early on, I would listen to her make her sales phone calls to leads, to clients, to book the hotel conferences. And you can see a video of me and my awesome mom right over here. So I learned sales very early on from her, how to communicate with customers, how to talk to people. Also in my previous job when I was doing a valet driver. So, I learned sales and communication by watching and learning from her. And a lot of you folks too kind of learn usually from your parents or a family mentor. Your first mentors in your life are typically your parents. However, if your parents aren't able to mentor you or coach you or guide you, you have to find other mentors, other people, which is what I did. So I learned sales from my mom, and my dad was a very successful technology entrepreneur. And you can watch his interview right over here. So he built multiple companies. He's done software, he's done business. So listening to how he handled his phone calls with his clients, I kind of learned business and real estate and technology from both of my parents. So I was blessed to have very nice, good parents in my life. And I'm very grateful for that. But if you don't have that, like I mentioned, you have to find other people to help you, to coach you, to guide you. So going back in time, I want to talk about my first mentors, the first people in my life that helped guide me, that helped coach me. And the first person that really sticks out, and I'm still in touch with, is my old engineering and entrepreneurship professor, Dr. Oliver Schlacke. Here's a picture of him right over here. I studied with him abroad. I took entrepreneurship courses with him. I went to Europe. I went to Germany. It was pretty amazing. I took my first entrepreneurship course with him in college, and it was a pretty amazing experience. I remember very specifically, I was having a conversation with him, and he's like, when you graduate college, for the rest of your life, you're going to be signing the back of a check, to collect your paycheck, to deposit it. But if you listen to me and you learn what I'm teaching you, one day you're going to be signing the front of the paycheck, which is basically I'm signing people's paychecks because I'm the business owner paying your salary. And it's funny, I think 2 or 3 years after he said that, I was doing that pretty much on a biweekly basis. I had about 25 employees and I was paying everybody at my one of my tech companies. So, he was the first mentor and coach. And to go back to helping you is you have to find someone. You have to find people that could help you, that could guide you get to the next level in your life. So I was very blessed. I went to University of Maryland, College Park. I really used my college to find mentors. Some of the professors, if you're currently in school or you're used to be in school, those professors these colleges hire, they're usually pretty well-known people and they're very successful in their field. So if you don't have any mentors yet, I would suggest, whoever's in your life now, maybe a teacher. If you're in high school, if you're in middle school, typically any really favorite teachers were helpful. Perhaps someone in college like the one I'm mentioning. So throughout life, you have to build a network of people that could help you, individuals. You have to also understand that people in your life could change everything. You could meet one person and your entire life could change. For me, it was about 10 to 20 people that kind of step by step helped me get to the next level. So I want to discuss with you what happened next. After I met my mentor, Dr. Oliver Schlacke, he invited me to a competition called Cupid's Cup at Maryland. It's for young students who want to do entrepreneurial ideas and pitch their idea on stage. And I went to one of these conferences, this competition, and I got to meet Kevin Plank, the founder of Under Armour. I actually met with him 3 or 4 times on separate occasions. And each time he gives a speech of how he started Under Armour. He's a Maryland Terp. He was just a college, football player. Then he designed a stretchy t-shirt and it turned into a huge idea. So, I mean, he had the vision, he had the motivation to go after it. And you can watch his story, online, how he built Under Armour to a $1 billion company, publicly traded, and was invited to the White House for a roundtable with other business owners. But I met him very early. I was 23, maybe 24 years old when I met Kevin Plank. And you can see this picture right here, shaking his hand, and we're getting a picture together. And every time I talk to him, I say, Kevin, I've got this idea. I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm just a young engineer. What advice can you give me? He would always tell me, go after your idea, go after your dream, don't waste time, and very encouraging, like you can do it. So coming from someone like Kevin Plank running a $1 billion company, telling little old me, engineer, that I can do something great, that left such a big impression in my mind that, you know what, maybe I can do something great. And Bob Proctor would always tell me, it's always somebody's belief in you that creates a bigger belief in yourself. So I'll say that again. It's always someone else's belief in you that creates a bigger belief in yourself. So conversations I had with Kevin Plank and Brendan Uribe, the co-founder of Oculus, some very famous people I met at the University of Maryland, and I don't think it was by chance. I think it was by design. I manifested meeting these people because I read about them in the news, I watched them on TV, and since I was in the strategic position of being at Maryland, they kept bringing all the CEOs and all these famous people to the campus, and I would be there. I'd make sure I'd get out of my calculus class or whatever class, engineering class I had, to be at that event to listen to that CEO speak. And in the next part, I'm going to go one by one, all the famous CEOs that I've already met very early in my life, in my 20s. And that impression made me want to become more. So for you guys watching, if you don't have access to the college campuses or stuff like that, you can always look up where these people are going. Anybody famous over $1 billion, they typically have many events they're throwing or part of some type of charity event or something, and you can always make sure you're in that area or in the room. Barack Obama, when he was running for president, he was a senator. He came to Maryland 3 times, and I got to meet him twice as he was exiting, and one time when he was on stage walking off. And it's amazing. I mean, again, but I put myself in that position to be nearby that person. That's one of the reasons why I was able to climb the ranks so quickly. So to go back to that experience with Kevin Plank, I never forget it. You don't get to meet these people over and over again. So when you are with them, make sure you ask for some wisdom or some guidance or something. So each time I chatted with Kevin Plank, he would tell me some valuable piece of information. Someone else also, Michael Chazen, he had started a company, Blackboard. He was giving a talk about when he didn't have any money, he was working at another kind of building or something, and he would have to borrow the office chairs because he didn't have money for office chairs, and like $75 or $175. And he would just take some chairs, put them in his office, and put them back later or something like that. But stories from CEOs, like actual real life stories of how they did it, that made a big impression on me and how to run my own company eventually, as I did later on in my life, running a few tech companies and how to do it. So one-on-one meetings with some of the most famous people in the world early in my 20s left a big impression on me. So that's great for me, but how do we do it for you? So this is what my advice is. Number one, find someone that you like or you look up to that you really want to become or be like. Anybody of these people on YouTube or any famous CEOs like perhaps Elon Musk, Bill Gates, they have public events. You can find places where they go. And if you just want to simply see them with your own two eyes, that they're real people, maybe that'll help. To get an actual meeting with them, it's a little bit of a different story. I published a book, Connects, Master the Art of Networking. You can read that. I also have a course on how to network with high-level people to help you make a lasting impression on some of these folks. I'll never forget Bob Proctor told me, never look up or down at anybody because we're all the same. And that was a very good thing he said. I'll say it again. Never look up or down at anybody. We're all the same. And what he means by that is people build fantasies in their mind of what people are like. People are no different than you and I. I remember those words very clearly because I had this on my miracle phone call with Bob Proctor right here. As you can see, just click the link. I have a fully recorded call that changed my whole life. And he says that, those words exactly, and I remember. So to go back on networking, again, I was in the right place at the right time, but you have to be aware that you're in the right place at the right time. So, yes, I was on campus. Other students were hard at work studying, going to the library. So was I, but I knew I'm only on this campus for 4 years. I was actually there for 6 because I took a break. I studied abroad, but I knew I'm not going to be here forever in this setting. This is a compressed amount of time and it's going to be over eventually. So anything that was happening there, I always tried to capitalize and make sure I was there for some of these people. And some of them I want to mention right now, actually. So this next part, I want to show you guys the people that I met on campus. Take a look. So I want to talk about the people that I met on campus at Maryland, the first few folks that really helped leave an impression. The first is Kevin Plank, as you can see here in this picture. Kevin is holding me to take a photo. He's got his right hand on my right shoulder. He is on stage at Cupid's Cup at the Clarice Smith Art Center on campus. And I just took a quick photo with him, and he kind of leaned down and smiled and took a photo. This is a real picture. I believe I'm 24 in this photo. And again, I chatted with him. I don't just take the photo like most people. I would take the photo, smile, turn around, and I would say, by the way, Kevin, I'm an engineer. I'd love to work at Under Armour, something. I have an idea. I would always say something for him to remember, like, okay, I remember you, young guy. So it was a very lasting impression that I had. I always interacted with the people I'm taking photos with or something. And I kind of talk a little bit while taking the picture, like, Kevin, thanks so much. This is great. And while the picture is going, I smile. And right before the picture ends, I go, by the way, before he even walks away, to get the little bit more few seconds in, because some of these people are very famous and they're very busy, so they don't have much time to spend with you. So when you do have that little bit of time with that person, better make it count. The next person I met down there, I've got a list of people right here. Brendan Aribe, co-founder of Oculus, the virtual reality company. I believe Mark Zuckerberg bought him out for $1 billion or something like that. Where did I meet him? How did I meet him? Once again, University of Maryland. I attended a competition called BitCamp, and that's a 3-day competition where you kind of get together with other hackers and you do coding and stuff like that. So I was there and I was coding one of my apps. I've built several hundred apps already. And I think this was a second or third app I was building. And he was there. Brendan was there. Shout out to Brendan. He was very polite and nice to me. His mom was there too. I think he brought some family members with him. And it's funny because some people maybe didn't recognize him. So he was just walking around, in the fair. I could see him, and it's like I have a radar for people who are very successful, and I could see them. I said, I'm gonna go take a picture with him. And I'm always dressed in a very nice outfit. So I had a jacket on, and I walk up and go, Brendan, I'm a huge fan. Like, can I get a picture? And that's another thing I want to tell you. Rich, famous, successful people, they love taking pictures. They love the attention. They like making you feel good. And 9 out of 10 times they'll say yes. So don't be afraid to take a picture. If you want to take a picture with me, I always say yes. I don't think I've ever said no to anybody. So I walk up and I said, Brent, I'd love to take a picture with you. I mean, I love what you're doing at Oculus. He says, sure. I come right next to him. I take the picture. We smile. And just like I did with Kevin Plank, by the way, Brendan, and I would turn and say, I'm also an engineer. I look at him right in his eyes, say, by the way, I'm also an engineer. I love what you did with Oculus. I've got an idea with my company Connects right here. You can see the logo. I want to do like a virtual type thing. What do you think? And I would chit chat for 5, 10 minutes. And I did this with everybody, every famous person I've ever met in my life. I would always talk to them on camera. I'd have someone taking pictures of me. I would have someone recording me. And that's kind of the trick. You always want to have a friend or someone take a picture and maybe get a few second clip video with you talking to that famous person. Because again, very unlikely you're going to meet them again in your life. It's usually like a once in a lifetime moment. You meet this famous person and that's it. You'll never meet them again. Sometimes you're lucky, you'll get it 2, 3 times. Or if you perhaps become successful and famous, then they become your peers, which is how I view them. They're all my peers. We're all on the same team here, like Bob said. So I met Brendan. I talked to him about Oculus, possibly working together or something, and believe he gave me some information for one of his staff or team. This must have been 5, maybe 7 or 8 years ago. I can't remember. It was a while ago. So that was a pretty amazing interaction I had with Brendan Uribe. So, I had Kevin Plank, I had Brendan Uribe. The next person I want to mention is Steve Case, believe co-founder of AOL. You'll see this picture of me. Again, I'm always dressed in a nice suit. He's standing right next to me. Again, I'm at the Clarice Smith Art Center. I believe he was being awarded for something. I think he was on a tour for entrepreneurship with a few other people. And that's another thing. A lot of these very famous people, usually they're with other panel speakers or they're with other folks. So excellent time to network. And really, you want to meet these people. And I talk about it in my book, Connects, Master the Art of Networking, to position yourself as they're exiting the conference or the arena to be at the exit or stand by the bathroom or stand out in the parking lot. So as they're walking out, you're perfectly positioned to reach your hand out and say, hi, my name is etc. I've been wanting to meet you and take the picture. People do that with me all the time when I'm giving my talks and speeches at conferences. If you can't catch me on stage, you usually can catch me when I'm walking out or on the way out, and it's a very good strategy. I used it myself many, many years, and I still do it now. And if you're interested in learning more, you can purchase my book, Connects, Master the Art of Networking, simply by clicking this link right over here. And check it out. And I also have a Udemy course called Master the Art of Networking on how to learn more tips and tools that I go into detail about it. So going back after that, some other really good people that I met. President Pines, University of Maryland. You can see this picture with me here. I am hanging out here. I believe this was at the Bethesda Country Club. And I think he was giving a talk about something, but he was the former dean of engineering at the A. James Clark School of Engineering and a good friend of mine. He was also a mentor when I was a young engineer. I ended up selecting mechanical engineering instead of fire protection or electrical, and no disregard to those other disciplines. They're still excellent disciplines, but I liked mechanical. It was more of a broad engineering discipline, and he was also a former mechanical engineer. So I remember asking him, do you think I should do mechanical engineering or civil engineering? And, he was the dean for some portion of time. And then after that incident at Maryland with that football player, Dr. Lowe kind of had to take take the L on that one, and Dr. Lowe had to leave as president. And long and behold, Dean Pines became the president of University of Maryland. So talk about relationships. So that was pretty cool that I still know him. He knows me. I recognize him. I think he's doing an excellent job as president of Maryland. Keep it up, Dean Pines, President Pines. Next person I want to introduce and show you guys here is Christopher Scalise, the former director of NASA. This was an interesting person I met. And again, I'm in the right place at the right time. As you can see, I'm wearing a full suit and a tie, which is a little unusual if you're on campus at NASA. This is when I used to work at NASA. Many people ask, did you really work there? You didn't work there? Yes, I worked there twice. I worked there once as a Lean Six Sigma engineer with my professor, Dr. Biggio at Maryland. Shout out to Biggio. And my other mentor, Mark Bollard, who was also my supervisor at NASA for some time. And the second time I worked at NASA as a software engineer in Python, and my stack was Python to Django, front end interface type stuff. But I actually met Christopher Scalise very early on. It was like my first or second month there. And, on the campus, if you have any people at NASA, sometimes the same thing, they'll bring experts in their field, SMEs, which means subject matter experts. They'll bring to the campus to give a talk. It just so happened that he was there that day giving a talk called the Maniac Talk. And you can look it up, the Maniac Talk. And he's there talking about all the stuff he's done, etc. And I'm in the front row with a friend of mine, and he's standing right in front of me. He's the former director of NASA. Very, very amazing person. Chris, I hope you're doing well in your life. And he probably doesn't remember even meeting me. He meets so many people, but I remember meeting him, and it was pretty cool. So as soon as the talk was over, he's kind of just standing around, just chit-chatting with some people. And since I'm a contractor at NASA, I walked up and said, Chris, can I take a photo with you? I'm a huge fan of your work. And like, I just started here. I'm an engineer. He's like, sure, of course. Like I told you, a lot of these people don't mind taking pictures. So I took a picture. I had two thumbs up, I talked. And then it's funny, I should have said a little bit more to him about what I've done and my entrepreneurship, but it was such a quick talk. I really just wanted a photo. Later on, though, it's funny because the employer that I worked for, they didn't like that I was taking a photo with the director of the whole organization, but that's a story for another time. So I just took the photo, and then that's it. I wish I could have said something about connects or something that I'm doing, but it was just a picture, and that's it. But pretty cool. I got to meet that person. The next few people that I've met through Maryland's connection, I'll go with James Laurie, the CEO of Black& Decker. Now, Black& Decker has a very big partnership with the University of Maryland. They're very integrated in the work they do. And I remember, I believe I took a course, ENME 371 or something. It was something to do with Black& Decker, where you take their product and then you kind of redesign it, or you make it better, improve it in some way. So we had a lot of Black& Decker products that we had that all the engineers were working on in some of our courses. And once again, they bring the CEOs and the heads and the VPs of these organizations to the campus. So if any of you guys are enrolled in college right now, or you have kids that are going to college, tell them to watch this video and copy what I'm doing. And it's totally fine to copy me. My other mentor, Ty Lopez, told me, good artist copy, great artist steal, or something like that. It was like Picasso or something he mentioned. It's an interesting metaphor. So please, by all means, copy my methods, my tips, tools, techniques, how I became successful, because I'm not going to be here forever, but this video will be. So how I met James, as you can see this one photo, again, I'm dressed in a nice suit. I'm always dressed up, so I look very impressionable. That's another thing. You want to be, if you know you're going to meet somebody famous, probably you should dress up, because they don't know you. You know them, but they don't know you. And if you're dressed nicely as a woman or a man and you look good and you're meeting someone first time, they typically will judge you based on your outfits, what you're wearing. And these successful people normally are dressed pretty well too. So James is there. I'm wearing a suit. He's in a nice a jacket. Again, he probably doesn't even remember this. He meets a lot of people, but gave a great talk. I believe this was in the business school on campus. And I remember every person I met that's at this level. And again, he gives a talk, he chats. Another thing I talk about in my book, Master the Art of Networking, a lot of these folks get invited to these events, they do their talk, and then when the talk is over, they're kind of just standing around for 20, 30 minutes, just standing there. Like they're already here, they got invited, they want to just go home. So that's the time when you should meet them. And I would say sit in the front row or sit someplace close because as soon as he's done talking, a bunch of other people come up. So I'm already positioned there. And sometimes that person is sitting in the front. So as I'm finding my seat before the talk starts, I'll walk up, I'll say, "Hey, James, huge fan." He'll just look at me, be like, "Oh, yeah, great." And then I'll sit down in the back. So he already kind of saw my face. Then when the talk is over, then I go up and introduce myself. "Nice to meet you. I'm Auran Sharif." Big smile on my face, loud, clear voice, direct eye contact. "Huge fan of your work. I'd love to just take a picture with you. I love Black and Decker." Of course. Take the picture, have a nice smile, and then my classic turn. "By the way, James, I'm a huge fan of Black and Decker. I'm an engineer. I'm graduating. I'd love to work at Black and Decker." They're like, "Oh, okay, great. Why don't you talk to the HR director or someone, et cetera, like that." So again, don't let that opportunity go. I think it's like that Eminem song, seize the opportunity that you have. So don't just take the picture. You also want to say something. Like if you were to meet me in real life, take a picture with me, smile, maybe get a video. But then if you have an idea that you're working on or you need some advice or wisdom, as soon as we're done taking a picture, that's when you should say, "By the way, Auran, I've always wanted to do this in my life. What do you recommend?" And then I would talk to you about that. So now you have the photo plus my words of wisdom, you can use later on in your life. So that's what I did for 30 years of this over and over repetitive building these relationships. So James was a cool guy, and I still like Black and Decker. The next person after this, oh, this is a great person. Marilyn Hewson. She's the CEO of Lockheed Martin. And I met Marilyn very, very early on. I must have been 22, 23 maybe. It's a great photo of us together. She takes pictures of a lot of people. She's wearing a nice outfit. I attended something called the BEA conference. I believe that's for the Black Engineering Young Network, something like that, BEA conference. And this conference was in Washington, D.C., and this is when I was interviewing for my first job. It's funny because Marilyn Houston was there, and then the former CEO of Northrop Grumman was there too. And they were both there at the same time. And I met both of them. I met the Northrop Grumman CEO and the Lockheed Martin CEO. And it's funny, it was almost like destiny was telling me, like, which company do you want to work for? I ended up working for Northrop, but they kind of all worked together anyways, building military equipment. So again, I guess I just manifested meeting the CEOs and presidents of these companies. But again, they're just regular people. They have their jobs, they're doing their job. They just happen to be the heads of top level people. So the CEO of Northrop that I also met it was Wes Bush. He was the former CEO. He served from 2010 to 2018, and he was succeeded by Kathy Warden in 2019. So yeah, I got to say hi, meet him at the BEA conference, and then I ended up working in Northrop. It was a great company. I loved the work I did there. I was a manufacturing engineer working on the F-35. So I was blessed with a great career in defense contracting, military, building stuff for for our government to help protect our country. So it was great. Going back to some of the other people I met after that, we got Lisa Athron, the president CEO of Textron, right here. And I think that time I'm in a hoodie. Then you have Barry Elkson, believe he was the CEO of Airbus at the time for one of their divisions. I have Tim Chi, the CEO of Wedding Wire. He was a cool person too. I believe he was at an event in Bethesda. I would purposely go to these events with any big name CEO and meet them and take a picture and talk to them because I wanted to be a CEO. And so, they say if you want to become somebody, hang out with somebody that's already there in your position and spend time with them and you'll become them. Other person I met was Anthony Castellana, is the founder of Squarespace. I believe he was being honored in the computer science building at the time. And again, I'm dressed up. I'm there. Took a nice photo with him. Of course, you have Dr. Lowe, former president of Maryland. I've probably chatted with Dr. Lowe a few times. He's a really cool guy. My mom actually hosted one of the first events at the hotel ballroom to invite him as, becoming the new president at the time. So he was great. Of course, I got both the basketball head coaches. You got Gary Williams. People know Gary. He was a great basketball head coach. Then you had Mark Turgeon, who was I believe, the Maryland's basketball head coach after Gary. I don't know if he's still there. That was great. This was at the Bethesda Country Club, and it was sponsored by the A. James Clark School of Engineering. And since I'm an engineering alumni, I got invited. But again, I would take the photos with the speakers and talk to them about whatever, something important or a word of wisdom or something. I never just took the photo. It was always something more than that. So scrolling down more, then you got Zachary Leonidas, the son of Ted Leonidas, I believe the Washington Capitals owner. I think he was hosting an event in DC for something. So again, just took a quick photo with him. Probably doesn't even remember me, but what's up, Zach, if you're watching this video? After that, some other people that I met through Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor was also somebody huge in my life. So I'm sure if you guys have followed me, you can see I'm closely tied with him. If you want to watch some of my interviews with Bob Proctor, just click the link right here. Me and Bob in his studio, interviewing him, interacting with him. Bob was one of the most powerful mentors in my life that changed my trajectory of my entire life forever. So I'm thankful for that. Through Bob, I met tons of other people through him at his conferences. They were always sitting in the front row. I would always meet them. I met a good friend of mine, Sean Donovan, produced a movie called Think and Grow Rich, based on the book Think and Grow Rich. He did an excellent job. Sean, hope you're doing well. Of course, Bob's son, Brian Proctor, very, very influential in his company. Hopefully, Brian, I hope you're doing well. Another good person I met, Phil Goldfine, Hollywood movie producer, Academy Award winner. I believe Phil has a Tony and a Golden Panda. Hope you're doing well, Phil. He actually, as you can see in this photo here, um, he's driving me around at the Universal lot, giving me a tour in his golf cart. I saw the Fast and Furious lot. I saw the Jaws lot. Phil, if you're watching this, hope you're doing well. Thanks for the tour. And in this video right here, I am holding his Academy Award in my hand, and I was showing him how to use the Snapchat filter, as you can see in the video. He's a great contact of mine too. So, how did I get here? How am I able to meet these influential, amazing people? Three things. Number one, I kept seeing in my mind me as a successful, influential person. And number two, I took action on meeting them. I would see them in my head, I'd manifest it in real life. And then three, follow up and, work on the relationship. It's a two-way street. These people that you meet, if you want to build a relationship, you can't just meet them and text them one time. You want to stay in touch, but you have to be strategic. You don't want to constantly message and message, then it's kind of like you're harassing them a little bit and then they don't want to be friends with you. So it has to be occasionally, every now and then. Maybe you have an event. Perhaps I want to do a panel for speakers. I want to invite some of these people. So you have to think strategically what to do. And let's say you do meet some very famous person or you want to meet somebody famous, reach out to me, DM me, text me. You can find me on my Instagram, Auran Sharif. Find me on my LinkedIn, my Facebook. We're very responsive. Anyone from my team can get you connected with me. We can set up an introductory call and I will help you. I'll guide you. I'll coach you on how to meet some of these people that I met, or maybe somebody in your life that you really want help with, or perhaps maybe mentorship. A few other people I met, of course, Sandy Gallagher, which was Bob's business partner. In this picture here, you can see I am giving a talk and she's very carefully looking at me. I believe I was probably announcing something important or big, like my idea for Connects or something like that. Another person I met right here, Andrew Cortina, the co-founder of Venmo. Andrew's great. I believe he's wearing a backpack that lets you drink water or something. This was a event, I think this was at Penn Apps or Columbia apps, one of these, I used to go to all these hackathons and build a bunch of apps with people. And again, they would bring very famous people there and they're just standing in front of you. So I believe I attracted that. Took a quick picture with Andrew, again, told him what I was doing with Connects. He said, go for your dreams, etc. So it's the constant reinforcement from some of the most famous people in the entire world. And I get to meet them and talk to them. And at the time, they probably don't remember me, but I'm sure later on, if these videos get bigger and bigger, perhaps somebody would mention, be like, "Do you remember this guy, Auran?" And then later on, I get to uh, probably catch up with them again. So moving down, got a few other people that were there. You have Dr. Moat, who was the former president of Maryland, I believe, from 98 to 2010. Actually, the first day of my orientation. He was there. And Dr. Mo's great. He's just standing there and he's just passing out flyers or pins or something. So I remember him. So I met all three presidents, Dr. Moat, Dr. Lowe, and President Pines. I love the University of Maryland. I am a Terp for life. I love that campus. I donate to that university, and it gave me my foundation of getting to the next level. Some other people I want to mention when I did the whole Shark Tank thing, going on it and trying to get casted for the show and doing all this stuff. I met Aaron Kraus, if you can see here from this picture, the founder of Scrub Daddy. It's this little yellow little sponge thing, and he became I think he's one of the top most successful people from Shark Tank is Scrub Daddy. He was there whenever the Shark Tank, I believe they do the casting 3 times a year. And a friend of mine is actually the head of casting, Mindy. She's down here on Instagram. You can check her out. She's really cool. Um, 3 times a year they do casting, and sometimes they bring former winners and etc. from there, and they're on there. So I highly recommend if you've got a business idea, I love that show. Go after it, pitch your idea, and go for your dreams. Another person that I believe I met too was Lori. She ran a company called Cheeked. That was another picture. So I kept taking pictures with people who I knew were successful or influential. And again, if you want to take a picture or meet me, come to one of my live events. We do 2 events per month. We have them in person, and then we do various online virtual events too. So check those out. Some other people I want to mention too that I think were pretty important people and friends of mine that I remember. A good friend, Blaine Bartlett. Blaine, how you doing? He's another big public speaker and coach. I met him through Bob Proctor's program. Very influential guy, older, successful mentor of mine. So as you can see, I've surrounded myself with very successful people, and I would take pictures with them. I think we're going to scroll through another person I remember, Robert Hashoka. He's a distinguished UMD alumni. I met him also. At the time, I was wearing a Georgetown sweater. So I like Georgetown too. I had friends who went there. I think I just went to an event at Georgetown and I ended up at Maryland too. So I love you, Maryland, but I love Georgetown too. Also, Dean Tritus, Dean Tritus. He was the former UMD Business School dean. He's pretty cool. I mean, again, he met all these famous people too that I met since he's the dean. You got Evan Lultz, who's the founder of Hungry Harvest. He also had a deal on Shark Tank. Met him. I believe he was invited for a talk. There's Mindy right here. Mindy, that's again the casting calls. They do it 3 times a year. I go to them every year because it's fun to meet entrepreneurs and help you guys with coaching and entrepreneurship. So Mindy, she's the head of casting at Shark Tank. You can find her on Instagram and chat with her. She's really nice. And again, if you want to go on that show, just go to the casting call, pitch your idea, and don't give up. And if you need help with your pitches or your business idea, feel free to reach out to me or my team. You can DM me on Instagram at Auran Sharif, Auran Sharif, or message me on LinkedIn or Facebook. Someone from my team will get. So yeah, that's just a few of the people that I've met. I've probably showed you maybe 1/100th of my network at this point. So I do have a very powerful network. Some other people that I met, I could mention, you've got Cody Sperber. I met him at his event. Chris Crone. also really amazing guy. Of course, my guy Ty Lopez. Ty Lopez is I guess kind of a controversial figure online because people don't think he's legitimate, etc., stuff like that. But I like Ty. I think he's a good person. I've been to his events. I've learned a lot from him. I've learned social media marketing. I've learned consulting. I support him. I like what he does. I've been to his parties at his mansion in LA and Beverly Hills, as you can see here from this video. I think what he's doing is great stuff. He's helped a lot of people. He's helped me personally grow my following from a few thousand people on Instagram to over 100,000 plus and on my way to more than 1 million. Um, I learned the four pillars from him: health, wealth, love, and happiness. I learned that directly from him. He's really smart. And again, this goes into surround yourself with people that can help you grow, and pay the money to go to their events. When I met Bob Proctor, I had to pay him $15,000 to coach me. And you can see that in this video that I explain how I did it. I had to take a lien against my 2006 Infiniti G35. It was a great car. It was the nicest car I had at the time. Later on, it gets repossessed. But then now in my life, I run a small car rental company. I've got dozens of cars. So in hindsight, it didn't mean anything to me at the time uh, after I lost that car. But the connection I had with Bob Proctor was much, much bigger. Little did I know the impression he was going to leave in my mind. So the point is, you want to surround yourself with the right people. My network has increased my net worth tenfold. If I had a network of only $1 million, it's probably worth more than 50 million at this point. And if you combine the total capital and net worth of all the individuals I know, it's probably over 1 trillion. I mean, I have 5 or 6 billionaires that I've met that I know and I look up to and I follow. Definitely a lot of people making millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. And, there's levels to it. There's levels to the game, and money is like a big game at this point to some of these folks. And how did they get there? If you're following me and you see what I'm doing to increase my networking circles, they did the same thing. All of the people at the top, they're all doing the same thing. The people, quote unquote, that are rich and successful, we're all in the same mindset. It's a mindset. It's a mindset of rich and success. And if you want to learn more how to get that mindset, I recommend 3 books. Number one, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It was a very good book. That's the first book I read that really propelled my journey. That book talks about a young reporter, Napoleon Hill, who at the time was pretty much broke, and he was able to get a hold of Andrew Carnegie, the richest person in the world at the time, and learn from him and put together the keys and secret of success of the rich. And he was interviewing people like Edison and Henry Ford, etc., in the book, Think and Grow Rich. You can use this link right here. Um, it's my direct Amazon link if you want to buy the book, so I will get a commission. Second book I recommend is How to Win Friends and Influence People. That was a very good book too, because at the time I didn't know how to talk properly. I kept talking a lot about myself, and then you realize after reading this book that you really want to be more interested in the other person. What do you do? How can I help you? Once you realize it's more about other people, then you'll maybe become more successful. I have a saying that I published in my book, which is the third book I recommend you get, which is Connect's Guide to Success, which you can buy right here. It's my first book I published, and that basically compresses all the knowledge and everything I have from Bob over 5, 10 years, and I wrote it into a very easy to read book. It's like a guide. So I remember he used to tell me, it's not about me, it's about we. So again, I'll say it again. It's not about me, it's about we, meaning the world isn't revolving around you. You're on this planet with everybody else. We're all working together. So once you realize that the more you help somebody else get what they want, you'll get what you want. It's a very good line. I'll say it again. The more you help other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. So that's kind of how I live my life now with my motto. I'm always in service. I'm always helping other people. As you can see up here, I'm giving a talk at SoFi Stadium with my good friend Dave Meltzer, who's another very good person I met. Dave runs Sports One Marketing, very successful, influential guy. I met him through Bob Proctor. Bob was being honored at Carnegie Hall in New York, and I believe Les Brown was there. I don't know. I think T. Harv, Ed Kerr, a few other people, and Dave was there too. I met him, and I got to know him pretty well. He's a good friend of mine and mentor and coach. Again, surrounding myself with high-level successful mentors. That's how you kind of quickly go up the ranks. It's almost like a cheat code. You just kind of skip all the struggle and stuff, and you get to the top much faster. That's the whole point of a mentor. A mentor will help bring something out of you that you couldn't do yourself. They'll see something inside of you that you couldn't see in yourself. Just like what Bob did to me and encouraging me and telling me you can become a CEO, you can become a tech entrepreneur, you can become anything you want if you believe it. And Bob showed me the concept of the goal card, writing down your goal in present tense, which I'll explain in a later video. You write down in present tense your goal. I am so happy and grateful now that, and you say your goal out loud as if it has already been accomplished, and you write the date down by December 31st, 2025, etc. Because a goal without a date is just a dream. So you always want to make sure you write down that specific date. So Bob taught me so many tips, tools, and resources on how to achieve your goals, which I talk about in my first book, Connect's Guide to Success, which you can purchase right here by clicking this link. So after that, meeting Bob, I went on through my life, and a lot of these contacts, I'm still in touch with them. These people are very famous and successful. And the people that I met 10 years ago, 20 years ago, they're probably even more successful because we're all in the same frequency and mindset. We just want to keep growing. You always want more. And if you're watching this video and you want to figure out, how do I get better? I am stuck. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel lost. I'm in a dead-end job. How do I get out of it? Attend an event, attend a networking event, come to one of my events, come to the virtual event if you can't make it. Learn from me. Let me help you. Let me guide you get to the next level. I spent years trying to figure out this game. And I'm telling you, the quickest way is through mentorship and powerful connections. The rich people, the people that you think about that are very successful, rich, they are hanging out with other rich people for a reason. Okay, they want to learn more, grow more, and earn more. So get in the room, look up some networking events, and if there's anybody really famous or influential that you want to meet, look up their schedule, find out where they're going to be, attend their events. These people at this level, they're very public figures. There's not a lot of folks that are super wealthy or rich and they don't go out and meet other people. It's always someone else that's going to change your life, give you money for your product or service, or help you in some way. Like my friend Ty Lopez says, you need to be networking. Do not isolate yourself at home. And after the whole COVID thing, it kind of happened. We had to isolate, but not anymore. Don't isolate. Get out there. Don't be too shy. And if you are shy, do some reprogramming in your mind. Maybe contact me or one of my consultants and we'll help you. But you have to get out there. It's always someone else that's going to help you make more money. That's a big thing. And the last thing, affirmations. I used to write down on the wall on pieces of paper and put it on the wall things that I believed in, like you're successful, you're smart. So I would read it and I would see it and I would believe it over and over again, reprogramming my mind to become successful. And that's something Bob taught me. And I'll leave you guys with this good note. And I highly recommend pause this video, take a pen and paper and write this down. So this is one of the affirmations I personally used for 20 years. Are you ready? I wrote down a piece of paper. I wrote, miracles are waiting to happen outside. Did you get that? We'll rewrite it again. Miracles are waiting to happen outside. So I had that on my wall. Write that down, post it on your wall. But the whole purpose was to remind me that I need to get out of your house. When you get off work, don't just go right back home. Maybe go to an event, try to connect with me, attend more networking events. But miracles are waiting to happen outside your home, outside anywhere else. But don't isolate yourself and stay at home. That's the strategy to stay stuck where you are forever. So you need to invest the time, a little bit of money, and if you don't have a lot of money, use a credit card. If you don't have a credit card, ask someone for help to see if you can get in there. And take the time to meet these people and befriend them. If you want to meet me, again, reach out on my channel, Auran Sharif, DM me, contact my team, and we'll see if we can help you get to the next level. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for the next video.